You have to be really disciplined. You have to know how to manage your money. You have to manage seasons with this more money, and seasons with this being less money. Creative is good, but it's also hard because creativity is not something you can force.
Okay.
A creative process is the process. It's something you have to flow with.
Yes.
So being a creative, you always have to take care of your mental health, because if you don't take care of your mental health, your creativity will suffer.
Okay.
So it's nice being a creative. Practice yoga in the house. So yoga is very calming and centering together with meditation.
Okay.
So those are some of the ways I try to keep my mental health in check.
How's it been?
Without is nice. Being a young mom, I feel like I've settled into it, and we have our life going for us,
Right.
and we have a
The fact that
schedule.
people want this more often
Mhm.
tells you that what you're doing is actually very impactful. How do you love them to like come in? What kind of support are you looking for?
One, two, three, four.
So good evening, good morning, or good afternoon from wherever you're tuning in the world. It's always a pleasure to have you, and I'm always thankful for you guys tuning in and for the overwhelming support. Today, we have an amazing lady on the show. Amazing the kind of work she does, how she does it, how she delivers it, how she prepares, and how she's able to execute. So, Karibu, kindly introduce yourself to the world and tell them what you do.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is JudyAlice King'ori. I am a digital marketer by profession, and I'm also a trivia host. I'm also a founder of LifeinNyeri, which is a media and events company based in Nyeri town. So I'm excited to have this conversation with Zach today. I can't wait to hear what he has in store for me.
So, maybe we could start there. You've lived your whole life being a creative. What is that being like?
Being a creative is good, but it's also hard because creativity is not something you can force.
Okay.
A creative process is the process. It's something you have to flow with.
Yes.
So being a creative, you always have to take care of your mental health, because if you don't take care of your mental health, your creativity will suffer.
Okay.
So it's nice being a creative, but being a creative in this country is hard because the arts are not well funded, not well understood.
Okay.
But I love being a creative. I describe myself as a multi hyphenate. That means I am not just one thing. I am many things at once.
Okay.
I'm a digital marketer. I'm a journalist. I am a trivia host. I do events. So boxing myself in one thing stifles my creativity.
Right.
So being able to express myself in many different ways actually helps my creativity flow, because when I'm doing one other thing, it feeds into the other
Into the
creative.
other
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And you've mentioned something very important. You've told us to take care of mental health as
Yeah.
creatives. So, what has that been like for you, and how do you take care of yourself?
So I have always been a runner,
Okay.
like running.
Hmm.
There's, runners high. I know
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
you run, right?
Yes, I do.
Yes. So there's something called runners high, which is a rush of adrenaline that you
Yes.
get when you run. So that's so when I go for a run in the morning, I usually feel like I can conquer my day, no matter what
Okay.
else is going on. Or maybe I'm not just happy and I go for a run. I'm able just to release the emotions and whatnot. The other thing I do take care of my health, mental health, is gardening. So
Gardening.
yes,
Okay.
I do gardening. In my house, I have a lot of house plants. Literally, my whole balcony is a garden.
Mm-hmm.
I also do yoga. I have a yoga teacher that I frequently go to for some of the classes. I also practice yoga in the house. So yoga is very calming and centering together with meditation.
Okay.
So those are some of the ways I try to keep my mental health in check.
And what have you felt like has been working, or what works for you consistently? There's always that one thing which we quote unquote run to when we want not necessarily a quick fix, but a fix that will work.
For a quick fix, I would say a walk.
Okay.
Anytime you're stressed, anytime you're not sure about anything, a walk will fix you.
You did a 10-kilometer walk
Walk here
yesterday.
yesterday. Yeah.
What's that? What's that? I know you capture life in Nyeri, and
Mhm.
you're always about telling stories about Nyeri that people need to know.
Yeah.
What was yesterday about?
Also in Nyeri, there is Nyeri Hospice, which is a care center for patients who are elderly one, then the ones that are suffering from cancer and HIV/AIDS.
Right.
So they provide care and comfort to that set of people. So every year they have an annual walk where they raise money to support their cause. So I joined in together with my kid for that. So it was a way of showing solidarity with the work they do.
And you've out of the blues, you've mentioned a kid. You never mentioned your mother, so
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know what's motherhood like for you. How long have you been practicing it? How's your
Practicing is not a
mother-daughter
career.
relationship? How's it been?
But that is nice. Being a young mom, I feel like I've settled into it, and we have our life going for us,
Right.
and we have a schedule, and we have how we do things, and we are a complete family. So yeah, my daughter is 9 years old. Yeah, she's the most important person to me. So yesterday she had a walk. Actually, the walk was more hard than me, but she asked me like a month ago, "Mom, will you walk with me?" And I was like, "Cool." Plus, I love walking, so why not?
Why not?
Yeah, yeah. So I always find things for us to do together. Yeah.
And this you did for you and the kid alone, or you also did that for Life in Year?
That was mostly us.
Okay.
Yeah, because I wasn't covering the events as Life in Nyeri, but I also featured some of the snippets on my page.
Okay.
But it wasn't a sponsored event by the Nyeri Hospice. I just supported it because I believe in the cause they are doing, and as well to support my kids.
Maybe we could delve into beliefs
Mhm.
and the belief, having a dream, having a vision,
Mhm.
having something that you've been dedicating your extra energies to,
Mhm.
and that will be Life in Nyeri.
Mhm.
How did it start? Have you been feeding it? How is it been feeding you?
Okay.
What kind of impact have you been able to like create with
Mhm.
the brand?
Mhm.
What are you doing right now? What do you hope to do in the future? What have you done in the past? Like
Mhm.
just walk us through everything about Life in Nyeri, because I feel like for somebody who's outside looking in,
Mhm.
I feel like you do very great work with the trivias.
Mhm.
I feel like you bring together very young and energetic people
Mhm.
together,
Yeah.
and I feel like that is impact on its own,
Mhm.
because you not only contribute to the ecosystem, the financial ecosystem of Nyeri.
Mhm.
They also contribute to people's well-being,
Mhm.
because people come laugh, they
Yeah.
have a good time,
Mhm.
they interact, they socialize. People are building social capital. What is what is this that keeps you in check while doing Life in Nyeri?
So Life in Nyeri started as a hobby, I would say.
Mhm.
So I've always been in media and digital spaces and all that journalism thing.
Yeah.
So I moved to Nyeri just after the first lockdown during the pandemic.
Mhm.
I was in Nairobi and I felt like I just needed a bit of life outside Nairobi. So I moved here.
Mm.
And when I moved here, there wasn't many resources I could refer to when I was settling in. Like if I wanted to go somewhere and eat, if I wanted to go somewhere and swim, if I wanted to know what events are happening in town,
Mhm.
there wasn't much information online.
Right.
And so I started my own thing. I was like, it didn't start as I'm gonna make money out of this or whatnot. It just started as a fun thing of, and I started getting followers and all that.
Mm.
With time, I actually realized people actually need the product I'm building. So it started as a hobby where I was just highlighting places to eat, whatnot, news around town, important news, covering what the county government is doing so that I inform the citizens and that kind of thing. So with time, I I felt like I was very much online
Mm.
because I had a Facebook page, an Instagram page, which is mostly where I post.
Mhm.
But I felt like I don't have a touch with people physically. So that's how the events came along.
Right.
So
Mhm.
I felt beyond the online community, I should build a physical community where I get to meet these people who follow me, whom we interact with online.
Mm.
So that's how, and I've always been a host, like even in Nairobi, I used to do events and whatnot. So it was an easy thing for me. So I just approached a restaurant and we came up with a partnership.
Mhm.
So that's how I started doing my events. which have been going really well, and I am happy, and my attendees are happy. I would say so.
Yeah. I've been privileged to actually attend some of your events
Yeah.
too so far, and I can tell you for a fact, people are happy
Hmm. Thank
because
you.
it's gotten to a point where they are actually requesting for a weekly event, which
Hmm.
is something I know for now you're not considering.
Hmm.
But the fact that people want this more often
Hmm.
tells you that what you're doing is actually very impactful.
Hmm.
So, what kind of impact do you hope to bring with the brand?
With the brand, first of all, I wish I could do weekly events, but
Mhm.
then I've talked about the creative process. As artists, I consider myself an artist.
Mm,
uh, you cannot do too much of something, you will
mm,
burn out.
right.
And that's just not artistry, anything.
Mm,
If you do too much of it, you'll burn out, you'll run out of ideas, it will become too boring.
repetitive,
Yeah,
can become
exactly. So
boring.
I think the pace at which I'm at with the events is good enough for me and my crowd,
Mm,
so that I get time to recharge, get time to get creative and come up with a very creative theme for the next event,
right.
so that when we meet again, it's a really good event, other than feeling like I have to do events back to back, and then the pressure is too much and
Yeah.
I'm not able to deliver quality. So
Mm,
it's a quality versus quantity thing, if you look at it that way. So with Life in Nyeri, the thing is that platform has so much potential,
mm,
um, but I'm taking it by bit. So the first thing I really want to venture fully into is events,
mm,
because that's something I've tried out. I'm getting the hang of it. So I might do bigger events in the long run.
right.
Yeah, so hoping I could get sponsors here and there,
Mm,
collaborators. So if you're hearing me and you're able to inject money, ideas into bringing a bigger event in Nyeri, I would happily, explore
yes.
that. So
Mm,
feel free to reach out. On the other hand, the advertising side of it, I've been getting a lot of advertising requests. So I hope to build a directory where I feature a lot of businesses around here,
mhm,
so that it's very easy. You see, the way I had a problem finding stuff to do in
mm,
town,
mhm,
or businesses, or where to buy what.
right.
So have just a central directory for everything on Life in Nyeri,
Mm,
and it doesn't have to be Nyeri town. It's actually the whole of Nyeri. So when I talk about Life in Nyeri, it's not Life in Nyeri town. It's Life in Nyeri County, which is a very big area.
mm.
So there's so much growth potential for Life in Nyeri, but bit by bit we'll get there.
You've mentioned things in part,
Yeah.
and you've mentioned about collaborators and
Hmm.
sponsors.
Hmm.
And how do you love them to like come in? What kind of support are you looking for?
For example, with the events are very resource intensive.
Right, right.
So like trivias, I usually get sponsors once in a while. And so these are businesses that come plug in either merchandise or cash.
Mm-hmm.
And then I give them a shout out to my attendees who are Nyerians. And then in turn, it's marketing for them. So that's one kind of collaboration I'm willing to explore. It can be either cash
Oh,
injection.
right, right. And is there like any specific brand or is there any specific maybe company
Mhm.
or anybody specific that you want to target with your collaborator proposal for now?
Well, I haven't really thought that far,
Okay,
because
okay.
I'm open to, ideas.
Being a digital creator and
Mhm.
also a digital marketer, you for the most part you work indoors, and I don't know how's that been for you. And do you have a social life? Do you interact
Yeah,
with
I do.
people out here?
How else would I know you?
I know, yeah, we met at an event, but
Yeah.
anyway.
Mhm.
So, how's your social life? Uh, how is it working? Indoors. That is the current generation. Most of us are working like online. We are working at home. How's that for you as a person?
It's great. I think I had an office job when I was 20.
Okay. You're old right now.
I'm way beyond 20 right now.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Uh,
and I was still in campus.
yes.
So I had a steady job, and they wanted to keep me on and give me a better position after school. But I think I knew from the word go, I wasn't built for the 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 life. And even before remote work was a thing, I remember it was in 2017, December, negotiating with my then boss to work 2 days from home, 3 days in the office.
Yes.
And after consideration, my boss gave me 1 day from home, 4 days in the office, which I declined because it just didn't feel sustainable to me. I was, especially with the hectic life in Nairobi, on the road by 6 a.m. so that you don't get stuck in traffic. Nairobi is a lot.
Is this Nairobi?
Yes, yeah. So, and with the kind of work I was doing, I really didn't see the sense in me going to the office day in, day out. So when my boss declined to give me 2 days from home, I said goodbye, and that was when I went solo. That's when I started freelancing full time, and since then I've never been back to the office. Been quite a number of years, 8+ years now.
Yeah.
And it's been good. Of course, there's a lot that comes with self-employment. You have to be really disciplined. You have to know how to manage your money. You have to manage seasons with this more money and seasons with this less money because unlike full-time or a stable job, sometimes you get more clients, so you have more money. Sometimes the clients become less, you have less money. So it's a matter of balance, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. The freedom, uh, it allows me to be with my child almost every day, all the time. We do homework together, we do stuff together. And if I was working in an office and I'm getting home at 9 p.m., I would really miss out on her life. So it's great. I love it. I don't plan to change anything about my working lifestyle.
Right. And have you been able to achieve balance when it comes to the high and the low seasons? Because I know when it comes to income, it's a very tricky
Yeah.
place. It's a murky place to be, especially with a kid in your life, and you have other responsibilities as well. I'm sure you're building your life in other areas and avenues. So how have you been able to achieve this balance as a freelancer? Because I believe there's a lot of imbalance, especially when it comes to earning your money. Do you save the money? Do you invest it? Or what do you do with your money?
Okay, so when it comes to income, when I was a new freelancer, you see, you learn on the job.
Yes, yes.
Well, I had a few mentors here and there, but until you do it, that's when you learn the ropes.
Yes, yes.
And with time, I had to have anchor clients. It's something called anchor client. That's a client who's always be there. So that means you negotiate retainer contracts with them. So at any given time, you have at least two retainer clients. So even if push comes to shove, at least you have money from two sources coming in. And then you can have at least another like one-off projects, 5, 10, or wherever. But the two sources of income, well, they're not full-time jobs, but they are consistent. You'll get a retainer contract for like a year or 6 months. So for the next 1 year, you're assured that your income is stable or you have a base level for your income.
Yes, yes.
It might go up, but it will never go below a certain threshold. And that is great because now you're able to plan for yourself. So if you get extra income, that's where you invest, that's where you buy something you've been wanting to buy or something of the sort. But that is something I actually always urge new freelancers to do. Get one or two retainer clients and have set it in contract that they cannot just terminate your contract. So have a very clear termination clause so that your clients, your stable clients that you think will help you meet the base level income you need, that they don't wake up one day and just pull the rug on you. So have very strong contracts with how you, if the contract is ending before the agreed period, how do you terminate the contract? Is there a severance to it?
Severance
Yeah,
package, yeah.
yeah.
I was checking out the severance package, and in the market, I saw Netflix has a very good severance package. I think they pay somebody fully for like the next 4 months.
That's for an employee or a contractor?
An employee. I don't know. I
Okay,
did not
so
check.
I work as a contractor, not as an employee.
Mhm.
So it's usually like if you terminate my contract before the agreed timeline, you have to pay me 40% of the remaining contract.
Just 40%.
Yeah, so let's
Okay.
say, for example, Yeah, because I haven't done any work yet.
Oh,
So
yeah, yeah.
unless there's pre-done work, because their contracts, their clients will come to you today and tell you, I want you to work for content until June or something. So that content either has to be prepaid for or is paid for by the retainer.
Mm.
So if the contract is terminated today, they'll have to pay that up to June. And if my contract was ending in December, they have to pay 40% of what was remaining between June and December. Yeah, so that keeps the client in check and also keeps you in check because there's also clauses that can make the client pull the rug on you if you're not holding up your end of the bargain.
And now that we're speaking about law, and law has jurisdiction, right?
Mhm.
So do you set this up to favor you, the law of Kenya, or is it from the client such that it favors them and their country of origin?
So I always prefer to set it with their country of origin. If it's a Kenyan client, I will put it under the jurisdiction of Kenya because then it's easy to pursue that.
Mm.
If, let's say, for example, the client is in the UK, we'll
Yes.
put it under their laws because see, the client is there.
Mm.
So I'll get an attorney there and sue this client on my behalf under their laws because there's no way I'll sue a client in the UK using Kenyan laws.
Right.
Yeah, so all the clause is always under where the client is based. Yeah.
All right. And what is the process of you've talked about discipline, you've talked about consistency in terms of these the anchor clients.
Yeah.
You have to serve them consistently, and that takes from you. You talked about discipline, and discipline is energy.
Yeah.
You have to sustain that energy day in day out. How do you how are you able to like sustain yourself for a whole year or more working for these people? These people don't see you, but
Yeah.
I believe if they're keeping you, you're always delivering. What's that process like?
So one thing is when a contract is very important,
Mm.
very, very first thing, both for me and the client. It protects both parties.
Yes.
So when I have a written contract and signed contract, I'm able to actually, this is my capacity for this month. I have 5 clients, so I cannot take any more. That is being greedy, right?
Yes.
So I'll come back to my priorities. I have 5 clients. What are the deadlines to their work? Like when should I deliver whatever, whether it's emails or social media content or all that. And then I'll plan my time, I'll plan my calendar, I have a work schedule. So I will prioritize what needs to go first. Then I have regular check-ins with my clients. I have like weekly calls. Then we have team meetings in between. So I always make sure my clients are fully updated on what's going on. I'm available on email, on Slack all the time. Not all the time, but rather within 24 hours, I'll get back to my clients because it's not always possible to be online. But I ensure communication between me and my clients doesn't drop at any one point. I deliver quality. That is the most important because what the client like, I could be a great communicator, but there's no results.
Yeah.
So as long as I'm delivering results, I am communicating. Most clients are easy, they don't actually care where you're based. Yeah.
Yeah, they're more about delivery.
Yes, as long as they're seeing results, they're good.
How do you get them? Like you've mentioned maybe somebody in the UK. I'm assuming maybe you do other foreign countries as well. How do you get this client?
So I've been in the game for a lot of years, almost 10 years now.
Okay.
I started out on Upwork, um, then moved to another site called FreeUp that doesn't accept Kenyans anymore. I don't know why, and they shouldn't see these. But I have referred a number of people on the site, and they don't. I don't know if it's our reputation as Kenyans. Sitatetea Kenya sana. But I've referred like 3-4 people on the same platform, but they've never been accepted. I don't know why. I don't know what changed, but that's where like I get most leads. So, but that's just getting a lead. So there's a process to earning a client. So there's a discovery call. There's sending your portfolios, your samples, test projects. There's a lot to it before you actually land a client. But that's the main way I get work. But also there's referrals. I've worked with 100+ clients for the time I'm doing digital marketing. So there's always someone referring me to do something. So there's free up and then there's the referral bit
The
about it.
referral bit.
Yeah.
Okay. You do amazing work, and I've been
Thank
able
you.
to I've witnessed your work
Mhm.
a bit, and I feel like I don't know, like Kenyan-based companies or Africa or other international companies should
Mhm.
really consider like talking to you and now working with you, because
Mhm.
if your delivery is quality top notch,
Mhm.
like they deserve to like pay you.
Of course, of course. Like, give me my money.
Yeah,
Don't give me a check. Yeah,
give
of
me my
course.
money.
I'm open. I'm always open to clients,
Yeah,
but also I cannot overstretch myself.
right, right,
Like,
right.
yeah, yeah. But if you're there and you want to hire me for digital marketing, content marketing, strategy, email marketing, all that,
Mm.
yeah, I'm your person.
We'll come to you on
Okay.
a consultancy basis.
Yes.
Not only this is a consultancy fee. Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So maybe lastly
Hmm.
before we close,
Yeah.
and it's a very sensitive topic. Um, Political unrest.
Hmm.
The country has seen a lot of political unrest as of last
Yeah.
year. We saw a lot of activism. We saw a lot of people coming out and standing up for what they believe is right.
Hmm.
What was your position, and were you in any way or form or shape, for that matter, involved in these in the political unrest across the country?
I wouldn't phrase it as the political unrest.
Right.
I was very vocal.
Hmm.
I am.
What would you term it as? It's
I
not
would.
political
I
unrest.
would
What
term
is it?
it as pro good governance protests,
Right.
because what the people are asking for is good governance.
Mm.
We are anti bad governance, so we are
Anti-bad.
pro
Yes.
good governance.
Yes.
So it's not even political.
Mm.
The issues at hand are core issues that affect us as Kenyans. And like I told you, I'm a multi hyphenate. You can't really box me in one thing. I was very much out on the streets because
Mm.
as a young person in this country, it's very easy to lose hope. It's very easy to feel like you don't have a future. So I was out on the streets with my whistles and water and the Gen Z regalia, mandamano regalia. So yes, I'm very
And
much for the
Colgates.
cause,
Okay.
and there's no two ways about it.
Yes.
We have to have a better country. Yes,
And how do you feel about the state of things right now?
things not looking good at all. They're
Mm.
not looking good at all.
Is that just financially, or is it what how is it?
Generally,
Mm.
because the healthcare system is not working.
Right.
They're talking about changing the education system, which is currently not working very well.
Yeah. So maths won't be compulsory.
Yes.
What's your position on that?
Well, maths was my worst subject, to be
Worst.
honest. Yeah, it was my worst subject.
Okay.
I was more creative and more into the humanities and whatnot. Seeing as I'm a creative, it makes sense. Um, and I don't think math should be scraped off. As much as I struggled with it,
Okay.
today I see the value of maths in my life. Like I'm able, like even as a business person, if I didn't do maths, it would be very hard to do my own accounting.
Right. Right. Right.
Yes, sometimes I might need an advanced accountant to check my books and all that,
Mhm.
but there's just some basic things you need to do. There's analytical thinking, critical thinking, all that requires mathematics, and you really can't disengage pupils and students from that. Yeah, so I
Mm.
don't think it's the correct approach to education.
All right. You've heard it for yourself, guys, and she's she's one person who does a lot of things. She's good at a lot of things. She is multi-talented, multifaceted, and she's going to keep delivering to you guys over and over and over again. So mine is to say thank you
Karibu.
from International Zach and of course from Talk Active Minds.
Hmm.
We really appreciate you like making time and showing up at this hour, at this time, at this place, and we wish you nothing but the best in all your endeavors. I know there's so much more we could have covered,
True.
and we will cover in the future. Just that we have to allow your life to be your life,
Yeah,
and ours as
really
well.
should podcast the whole day.
Yeah, you can shoot a podcast. I'll try one day, but for now, mine is to say thank you and to wish you nothing but the very best in your endeavors,
Mhm.
and those brand partnerships, they better come.
Yeah, they better
Uh,
come through.
they better
Thank you
come
so
through.
much for having me, Zach.
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to seeing you grow as a
Right.
podcaster,
Thank you.
yeah, and as a person as well. So
Mhm.
thank you for having me, and looking forward to more in the future.
Yes, looking forward to working with you as well.
Mhm.
I know we already started, just ni kuendeleza tu kazi.
Yeah.
Asante.
Okay.
You guys have a good morning, evening, or afternoon, wherever you're watching us. Asante.
Karibu.
Meisha.